We're many, those that live beyond the veil of darkness, where nightmares are born and empty. Lost or bound, madness thrives on the suffering of the dead, wanting the souls, heal the souls of the weak. We have taken refuge here among the mortals, in hope of harvesting on the innocence. Tread lightly the search for the voices, the stories of the departed, for in the shadows hides the evil that lurks within. As the light dies and slowly becomes night, the realm of the spirits rule the world. In the darkness of your mind hides your own inner demons. Raise to life your deepest fears. Do you have what it takes to speak to the dead? Do you accept your own mortality? In the search for life after life, have you ever seen a ghost, spirit, or demon? Have the lights flickered and the room became as cold as death itself? Maybe you have, maybe it was your own subconscious preparing you for death. Come spend some of what's left of your own existence in our search for the answers hidden behind the veil. Shed off the blinders and open your mind's eye. Listen to the story. We are they, we are incarnate, paranormal.
And what is up, everybody? How y'all doing? Happy Friday to you. Happy early Friday show. I don't know what's going on with my camera, but it's just acting funky today. That's a little bit better. It was just kind of freaking cocked to one side. But yeah, do apologize. No show last night. Time I got home, I was just fucking exhausted. But, you know, that's part of the job. Went in early. Like I said, they had to have me come in early. Plan on leaving by 3:30 at the latest. Then lo and behold, I don't leave till 5. It's like, an additional 2.5 hours. Whatever. I got home, had dinner, and I'm like, passed out watching Police Academy. But, Jack's around somewhere. But, yeah, we're promised a Friday show since I have today and Monday off. We're going to do a show till about, we'll see how it goes. See how the evidence plays out, see how I feel, but we're also going to do a show tomorrow. Tomorrow night, no show, company Christmas party. Sunday, we're going to do a show now through Monday. Try to get some extra shows in, extra time. Get this evidence analyzed like we need to do. That being said, let's get on over to, where's it at? That's just a hair off. There we go. Okay, much better. We left off. We are on MDS recorder night 2, Neil Pitney's cell. We are on section 2, section 3, with only two EVPs. They're coming and walk away. We're sitting on 19 EVPs on the second recorder on the second night. We need to get some EVPs and catch up here. So let's see what we can get. Probably not going to be much on the rest of this recorder. So we are going to be jumping into night 3 MDS here, probably in about 20 minutes or less. But if there's no EVPs, we can pretty much read the graph here on the bottom. And there's going to be nothing. So if we can get through most of night 3 on MDS recorder today, we're going to be ahead of the game. There's no EVPs or no signatures. We'll get through it a lot faster. But the reason it's taking so long is we had an additional 12 hours of audio to listen to off this recorder. Like I said, they let us leave the recorder overnight when we left. Unfortunately, it yielded 0 results. Oh well. Yeah, it's not even 11. Not even 11, I'm having a Moscow Mule. Something wrong there. So I hope you guys have had a good week. Going into the weekend, got to decide what I want to wear to the Christmas party. Since it's NFR week, do I just want to cowboy up, put on the boots, the Wranglers, and the shirt? Or do I want to wear my Nintendo hockey jersey from Geeky Jerseys? I might go ahead and cowboy up on it. Let's see if I can get me a Buckle Bunny for the night. Looks like we're coming into cleanup gear. What's up, Moose? How's it going, bud? Said I promised a Friday show. Here I is. Woke up, you'll get a haircut, do some shopping, grab some breakfast. I'm good. A little tired, but I'm good. If the recorder's still on.
See if he pulls the same trick again.
Mr. Pitney, we are back to see you again. We got 541 1 bar. Mr. Pitney. Like I said, we came back to talk to you again tonight for a couple of minutes. Then we've got to go down to the old cell block. But last night we had both of our cameras turned off.
Okay, so now we just confirmed it. Night 1 was when the cameras turned off. This is night 2, so I don't know what recorder was in his cell. We'll have to remember that when we get to it.
If that was you that turned them off simultaneously, could you touch that box on the table for us, please? It's awful quiet in here.
Yeah. That was my stomach. That was my stomach.
Like I said, pay attention to bodily sounds. There's my stomach kind of grumbling.
That was my stomach.
It sounded like an owl.
That was my stomach.
Okay. Is that you messing with Joe's stomach?
You're saying he was hungry, yeah?
Is there someone else in this cell other than Neil Pitney? Could you touch that box on the table for us, please?
Starting to see a trend here with the A.
What do you mean, just the temperature?
So yesterday it was temperature decrease. Today it's increase before activity.
Mr. Pitney, if you are in here with us, the temperature on that box reads 69.8 degrees. 69.9. Could you take that up to 70.3 in the next 30 seconds, please? If you can do that, we will leave you in peace for the night.
Why is it amplifying? I haven't amplified this recorder. If you notice, look how it changes. It goes from silent to amplified. I have not amplified this recorder at all.
We'll leave you in peace for the night.
Quiet. Amplified.
We'll leave you in peace for the night.
That's strange. It's never done that before.
Halfway there, 15 seconds.
How can I touch buttons when it's on the table, TM? The recorder is sitting on the table. I'm standing in the doorway. There's no way for me to touch buttons on the recorder.
All right, Mr. Pitney, there's your 30 seconds. You're probably not with us. And if there is anybody here with us tonight, you're probably asleep. So we do apologize for waking you if we did. If you would like us to leave you in peace for tonight, anybody in the cell block, could you knock on something for us and we will leave you be for the night? It's just definitely quiet in here. I don't feel anything. I do not feel anything in here.
No.
All right, so that is the end of night 2, Neil Pitney's cell. MDS recorder. Let's get on over to section 3. Or section 3. Night 3. Get that loaded. Okay. You maybe have looked at this file. No, I haven't looked at it before. I never pre-look at anything. So basically when you bring the files up for the record, when you transfer them over, it has them all in order. You just got to make sure that they don't get mixed up, but they're numbered. When it goes past a certain point, it creates that new file, so it's in order. Yeah, I don't pre-look at them. Even the videos, I don't pre-watch them. I drag them in order so we can make the movie. I don't pre-look at stuff because I don't want spoilers. I just don't want freaking spoilers. All right, let's find out where this is at. All right, guys, night 3. Hold on, let me... find out where this is at so I can mark it down. Here we go. All right, this is Brent with Incarnate Paranormal, Nevada State Prison, night 3, visit 4. This is MDS recorder being left in women's on C9. C9. Was that something already? I'm fidgeting with the recorder, but there's a voice there. There's the voice there. Let's see if we can get rid of that clicking. I don't know. That's definitely not me. We might be able to debunk that right now. I don't know if that's an EVP. It's going to take a lot to clean that up. It might be me, you're right. Because I am fidgeting with the recorder a lot. So what we're going to do is this. So let's try this. Then we're gonna, after we do this, we're gonna move on. I just want to do this for my own sanity. I mean, we've got time. Okay. Yeah. Again, being left on C9. I should have left the other memory card. All right, we're good. Now over to Old Mary. No, Death Row. That's Dead's. Never mind. That's Dead's. I want to know why there's so much echo. Yeah. I was talking to Dead's and I think Chris, which is one of the docents. Because I know in night 3 he walked through with us when we set up. So we are going to hear some talking in the background. Women's is here. The next hallway over is Death Row. So, yeah, we're going to hear some talking here in a minute. Then we might even hear the talking coming from Execution. We're definitely going to hear some stuff on this recorder. Just a matter of what it is. We're starting off slow though, guys. Yeah. Like literally. Hallway. Each side. Women's death row. We got to remember this. It wasn't always women's. Now, I don't know why this is picking up so much more than Neil Pitney's cell. It wasn't windy, but it's like this recorder sounds like it's being open driving down the street. You hit record and open the windows and drove down the street. There's an air current, and I don't know why. There shouldn't be. Some of it's wind. But I don't remember it being this windy. It was not that windy. Yeah, I wish Deads would hear this. That is a little distant and has echo to it. This might be us down the hall. This definitely might be us down the hall. Let's figure it out. That noise reduction. Okay, effects. No, denoise. Sounds like a chicken. That's a warbling in the recorder. That's what happens when you edit this too much. Not good. It's one thing I don't like about the H1Ns. As soon as you start really editing, you get that digital warbling to it, and it's just kind of distorts everything. That might be us down the hall. Right, here's the other side. Where Women's is at, there's not that much of a breeze in there. It's dead calm in Women's. It sounds like this is sitting by an open window. This should not be happening. This is something affecting it. It's gotta be. Guys, I don't get this. That sounds like thunder. Metal and thunder. I don't get this. Hold on a second. I gotta text somebody. I'll be right back. All right, I had to text Deads on this, guys. I almost want to pull the video because if it's windy, we're gonna see it. Fly a kite in that kind of wind. You ain't lying. Prison doors opening. Traffic. Wind again. Guys, I'm sorry. I'm getting confused on this. This is in an enclosed area. There should be no freaking wind at all. Because this sounds like 50, 60 mile an hour winds. And it just wasn't. It just wasn't. Because this is almost, I will not mark it as paranormal. I won't either, TM. There's no way there'd be a door open even close to allowing this to do it. And you'll understand what I mean when I say this. When we get to the video, you'll understand there was no wind. It's almost to the point we can't analyze this. No, we can't see wind. But like I said, where this is at, there's no way to have this current of wind. But yeah, you're right. We can't see wind, and we cannot mark this as paranormal. We can mark it as unexplained, but that's about it. No, like I said, I just messaged Deads, and he said all 3 nights were calm. I forget the audio stream when we see video. No open windows, no open doors or anything in that area. But even if that's the case, it wouldn't be this type of wind. This sounds like it's outside, and it's not. Deds is jumping on right now. Fucking sweet. Perfect timing. Where is this coming from? There's no way. There was no freaking wind. This is bothering me. I mean, this is almost giving me anxiety. It's bothering me so much. Women's, I don't even think there's windows in women's. If that or they're sealed. Even if they were up there, what? This is night 3. How is this possible? This should not be. No, Moose, it does not have air ducts. They've got accordion style heaters and windows that open about that much. Gotta remember this part of the prison goes back to the 30s, if not earlier. None of them have air ducts or air conditioning. Hell no. And this is like where the women's is, it's like halfway down. I don't get it. And I've only ever gotten wind like this one other time. I was investigating outside at night during a windstorm. The audio was completely just trash. You couldn't make between teammates and EVPs. And that was up in Caliente, or not Caliente, not Rhyolite, small town in Arizona with bad, yeah. But digital recorders, you don't get this. I want to do something real quick. Bear with me, please, for a minute. I've got to do something real quick. So, I've got to save this and send it to Susan because I want her opinion on this. I'm sending it to Susan, yes, because night 3 there was absolutely no flipping wind. So there's got to be an explanation. I just want her opinion on it. Nothing paranormal. So I'm not claiming this to be paranormal. Let's just make sure we all get this one. I am not claiming this is paranormal. I'm claiming this is, why are we getting wind when it was a dead calm? And anybody who's ever been fishing knows what I mean by a dead calm. You get out on the boat and it's like a freaking mill pond. There's not even a freaking ripple in the water. That's how it was in Women's. It was a dead calm. And all of a sudden we're getting windstorm? Why? You know, everybody's been out on lakes. Everybody's been out fishing. When you can see reflection in the water and there's no wake. So, I don't know, guys. You don't see me get confused like this very often. And I'm pretty meticulous with analyzing evidence. And you guys help keep me honest on that. It's like, what do we do? Watch the dust bunnies produce their own patterns in this stagnant air. Yeah, you ain't lying. You ain't lying. Oh my God, look at the orbs. We got ghosts in broad daylight. So guys, I do, while I'm thinking about this, I do want to dedicate this show to Angry Joe Tasso. He was the tour guide at Bonnie Springs Ranch, just outside of Vegas, and he was the doorman for Zach Bagans' museum. He was a friend of mine. I've investigated with him. he did embarrass the shit out of me at the museum in front of other guests and had the tour guide use me as bait. Fortunately, he passed away yesterday. So that is a hard hit to the paranormal field, to anybody that knew him. Like I said, he was friends with Zach. Thank you, Moose. So I just want to dedicate this show to him. He did a lot for me in the paranormal. So yeah, Joe, this show's for you. You need to delete a file, it's not gone. Exactly. But then again, TM, when you say that, is there a and Deds, you might be able to answer this one too. When you delete a file, it's not entirely gone. Does that pertain to these micro SD cards? If I deleted a file off here, like I do after I upload them to the computer, is there still a shadow of it on the memory card to where it can still imprint onto the new recording? Is that even a shadow of a possibility that there's something still there and it's still not until the sector is overwrote? So no, it's not possible. So once you delete it, there's no possibility that you can get a shadow of audio still remaining. But if that was the case, the last time this recorder was used was in Goldfield in the basement where there was absolutely no wind. So there's no possibility that this could be an overwrite or an overlapping shadow of a recording. Okay. Just making sure on that one. Because, like I said, this should not happen. I mean, we did have this happen last year when we left the recorder on the Windows side in infirmary. We had nothing but humming for 6 hours from a transformer right outside the window. You can use some really intensive data recovery software to attempt to retrieve it, but no guarantees. So it's like a 0.01% chance. So the possibilities of this happening are nil. Let's just go ahead and call it what it is, nil. But who in their right mind is going to try to do some extensive data recovery on a micro SD card? You better know your shit on that one. That's usually like on memory cards. Once I delete them, I go back in and reformat them, so it supposedly completely wipes them. Just reformat the card. Yeah, guys, I don't see much on this because of the interference. "40 hours of scrubbing that file on the..." Oh, hold on. So then that goes back the off chance of 3 seconds being usable. There's no chance of being 6 hours of shadow. There's no way. Wipe them all should be set to 1 or 0, but they're different wipe methods. And the last one, you did that with some HD. So the possibilities of this even being discussed, I may as well go play Megabucks at this point. It's just not going to happen. Thanks, guys. I just wanted to make sure. I'm trying to eliminate all possibilities here before I even consider, any other anomalous behaviors. So we're literally sitting on almost a dead recorder because this isn't really, we can't really analyze shit like this. Once that wind kicks up, you can try using hiss reduction. Okay, let's do something real quick. Okay, let's amplify this. I want to. This is MDS recorder, night 3 in women's. MDS night 3 women's. Okay, let's do this. I want to try something here. Capture noise point, apply. Effects. Oops, no. No, come on. You're going to do this, aren't you? Okay. Effects. Reverb. Effects. Denoise. Let's amplify this up to 15. Where are we at? We can still hear the wind. Not as good or not as well. Okay, so we can't clean it up. Did it say the right date? I never set the dates in the recorder. I just hit cancel and keep going and record. I never go through that much. Because every time you change the batteries, you got to reset the frickin' date. And I just don't want to take that time. You got to figure 20 recorders, and you got to set the date every time you change batteries. You're burning daylight at that point. I meant by audio. Right date in the start, I mean by audio. It should. You debunked that a while back. Yeah. Say the date in the start, it doesn't. If you keep a single battery in as you're changing the other, it does. Okay, I'll remember that, Deds. Thank you. I'll definitely remember that one. And that should be us coming into the area, I think. Or lingering souls. then again, they don't talk after that. Huh. And you notice the wind has died down a little bit. As soon as I say that, it picks up. Shit. I just have the weirdest feeling in the world. We're not gonna reach 400 EVPs. I just have a feeling on this. I said we're only on the second recorder. We're only 2 in, and we're sitting at 19. Yeah, they're down in execution. And there's the wind back. But not the good thing. Night 3, Susan and Susan and Tammy, they spent a lot of time in execution or in women's, if I remember. They spent most of the night there. Moose, there's no doors open. I'll just tell you that now. There's no doors open. And the past 3 years that we've investigated that area, never did we get this. It was always dead silent. You'll understand once we get to the video when I say that, Moose. When you come up the stairs to go to execution and women's, you got to go through 2 doors. Then when you come through, you have to shut it to get into execution. But when you make the left to go down towards women's and death row, the first door right outside execution is death row. You make an immediate right, but you go down about another 15 to 20 feet. Then you make a left into women's, and then it wraps around to the right and goes down about 100 feet, then comes out on the other side to basically a door into a wall. So then you got a door on the left that does go outside, but that door has been shut for 30 years. And that there's no broken glass, there's no missing panes. Yeah, there's an insane. Deds is right. I had 3 GoPros, and Deds had 2 GoPros, or 3 GoPros. So we have a lot of video between us. He carried a GoPro all night, and I carried a GoPro all night, minus the ones we set up stationary. So I'm anticipating evidence off the GoPros. As much as we had covered, I don't think there's a way not to get evidence. Yeah, we're pretty much fighting ourselves on this section. Until somebody gets in there investigating, drown out some of this background noise. Let's see if section 2 changes. Because section 1 is definitely hot trash. But they spent a good amount of time was spent on night 3 in women's. A good amount of time. Well, all 3 nights. Like I said, Susan and Tammy spent a lot of time in women's. They spent the majority of the time in there while we were all out investigating the rest of the prison. Then they take teams up there and see what we could get. As you could see, we're going to have a lot to come into right here. So this is good. Might just take some time to get to it. Let's see if the wind continues. And it does. But we don't have to go very far. But then again, I mean, compared to last year, or the previous year, we had what? Deads. You were here for most of it. Out of all the recorders, we probably had a total of what? Maybe 3 totally just dead recorders to where we got absolutely nothing. But this year, or this coming year, oh, we're gonna have some serious fun with it. I'm gonna try to get at least 1 or 2 more GoPros, if not a video camera. I might just say screw the video camera and take the Pentax KS2 with the strobes, and just do video with full spectrum. Like I said, full spectrum, it gets hard to watch. It really plays on the eyes. Mrs. is carrying a GoPro next year or 2. Deads, does she want to go back? Does she want to go again? Or does she have a choice? Make sure and tell her I said hi. It's growing on her. I told you. I freaking told you. Just make sure and tell her I said hi. Give her my best. The paranormal grows on you. And people joke about it. It's like, oh, I'm just going to go check it out. They go on their first investigation and they're like, I had fun. I don't know if I want to do it again. About a month later, 2 months, 3 months later, they're like, you know what? I've been thinking about this a lot. I want to go again. It's like, what? You said you didn't know if you wanted to do it. But I've been thinking about it. I didn't realize what you were trying to tell me until now. It's like, I told you you were going to change your mind. You didn't tell me nothing. Yeah, I told you were going to want to go again. The paranormal just seeps on you. All it takes is one big location. Because residentials won't do it. Residentials, if you do your first investigation on a residential, you probably won't do it again. But if you go to a place like Nevada State Prison, Goldfield Hotel, the Mizpah Clown Hotel, one of the big boys, oh yeah. You may say you'll think about it, you don't know. Then you'll out of the blue you'll be like, I actually had fun with that. I didn't realize it until this very moment. When are we going to go again? I'll schedule it. Now, I'd like to do Alcatraz, but I ain't paying that money. I ain't paying California money. Prison lifestyle. What's up? How you doing? It's better to do many small places to prove for the bigger place that can trust you. Not too better. A lot of my first evidence came from a park. Chilling in the cell. How are you? I'm good. If you're chilling in the cell, this has got to be Chris or Susan. If you're chilling in the cell, it's Chris or Susan. Which one is it? But I'm good. Enjoying my day off work. I'm enjoying my 4-day weekend. Oh, you're in Oklahoma. Okay. We have the docents of Nevada State Prison who actually come in to watch the show, so I apologize for that. Basically analyzing evidence from Nevada State Prison. We basically, when we go to the investigations, I looked up prison stuff and found you since I'm locked up. I gotta ask you then, if you're is your prison haunted? Do you see stuff you can't explain? Middle of the night in your cell or in the cell block, do you see shit you can't explain? Because I've had people like on YouTube who found my videos and they went to Nevada. They stayed at Nevada State Prison. They were guests at Nevada State Prison. I said, I never judged with that. I was like, you weren't incarcerated. You were just a guest. You know, and being in there, like I've talked to people who cleaned the execution chamber. They just opened this one up 6 months ago at maximum security. Death row inmates, haunted, 6 feet. It's 6 feet underground. There's death row inmates. Give it time. Give it about a year. It's especially Oklahoma. That prison could be on Native American grounds. Just give it time, and you'll see something. Not trying to scare you. Middle of the night, you wake up seeing something standing over, and you're like, "Oh my God, this guy was right." But yeah, I've actually gotten accustomed to investigating Nevada State Prison. 1862 to 2006. A lot happened during that time. Yeah. Well, I hope the 10 years goes fast for you. And I hope you get early release. I hope you get an early parole. And I'll be honest with you, some of the investigations I've done away from the prison, uh, Native American areas are some of the best I've ever investigated. Oh no, it's uh, Nevada State Prison closed in 2006. Warm Springs Prison, which opened up right next door, opened in 2010. Uh, there, and then they closed it during COVID for remodeling, and it's going to be closed for about another. It's going to be closed for about another 2 or 3 years while they remodel it. Then they're going to bring all the prisoners back. So until then, we have pretty much free reign of the prison. We're trying to get next door to investigate that too, but because it's still under renovation, safety reasons, they won't let us in there. You were 8 in 2006. Thank you for making me feel old. I was, what, 40? No, I was 70. I was 30 years old in 2006. But yeah, what we do is I basically just set up recorders, random areas of the prison. Hit record. Hey, this is Brent with Incarnate Paranormal, Nevada State Prison. What night it is, what recorder it is, and where it's being left. I just set it down and I let it run all night until the batteries run out. So if we get something, so we got people coming in right now. You get everybody coming through investigating. So if you get any evidence, you can match it to theirs. And I'll tell you, it's prison. So you know, let me pause this for a second. When I go into to Nevada State Prison to investigate, cellar, the showers. We've had a lot of activity in the original prison showers where they had 30 or 40 men in a room 8 feet wide by 20 feet, 30 feet long. I can go back and see if I can grab a video of that from a previous investigation. But Dead's right there that's in the room. He joins on the investigations. I don't talk to him. You know, it's like, hey, what'd you do to get in here? Who'd you kill? You know, it's like, how many years did you get? I walk in, introduce myself, and ask them what their favorite football team is. I ask them, you know, what do you miss the most about the outside world? I talk to them like I do men, not like they're convicts, not like they were convicted. You know, if their energies still remain, that negativity still remains. You go in there and talk to them like they're men. I troll Neil Pitney, and I've told you guys a reason. And the responses that I've gotten are phenomenal. Let me see if I can find the video for you to show you the shower, so you understand. It's hard to explain unless you've seen it. GoPros. Where are the GoPros?
Yep. Just passing through, Brent. John Vanessa.
All right, where was it at? All right. Let me pause this real quick. Let me pause the audio, get back up to the video. I'm going to be back recording here, guys. Okay, we're going into the original showers of the prison. Yeah, Dead's announced as you went
Lost my
by.
diffuser.
Let's.
Good. Lost the diffuser to my.
Okay.
All right, here we are, gentlemen. Back in the showers.
So you can see how deep this this room is and how wide it is. It's probably double the width of a prison cell by about half. 30 feet. So I'm twitch chilling. That's. I'm glad they let you do that.
I was here last time with Brian and Angela. I was across the prison and you guys called my name. I've decided to come in here alone this time without them. If there's anything you'd like to say, any messages?
So you can also see
These devices I hold in my
right in the back corner
hand,
is a toilet. There's a single toilet in the showers.
they will let me know of your presence. Don't hesitate to come forward and say your name or let me know that you're here.
So you can see it right there. Imagine showering in there with 30, 40 other people, and there's a toilet. They closed it down because of security reasons. Converted into a utility building. There was one day, I think there was 3 people stabbed and hung in there, and on other occasions there was people just stabbed in there. All the steam, nobody sees anything. But then again, in prison, you don't see shit anyway. But you get an idea of how old this is. And when I talk about it, I wanted you to understand what I was talking about.
I understand there were 2 or 3 men that were.
So that's the original shower. Last 2 years. Wow. Oh, prison, I'm glad you're doing okay. And that I'm kind of curious. I'm glad TM asked that, and I know over the years, data exactly. I know the prisons have laxed a little bit, bigger cells because of mental health. Prisons, from what I've been reading, have started doing a lot more to prisoners' mental health. Yeah, you can watch TV, have internet, cook in your cell. I know you're not supposed to. I've watched, forget his name, something Lawton, and he talks about cooking gourmet meals in jail cells. So I totally agree with that. It's like you get on here, you can do research, watch videos. Hey, this guy's talking about prisons. Let's see what he's doing. I'm analyzing paranormal evidence. I mean, it's not really educational, but it's not, but it is.
Passing through again, Brent.
So let me see if I can find the picture. And since we can do this, and since it's your first time in here at prison, I'll go ahead and someone's yelling. 13 officers got. Okay. When you get back, I'll show some pictures. So that's when you came through the van, right, right, Deds? You know, I know they've laxed like out here, TVs, freaking DVDs, video games. As long as you can afford it, I think it's being allowed. And like I said, I agree with it. There's enough stress in there, enough mental issues. You keep somebody calm and docile, you're not gonna have any fights. People can be like, "Hey, what are you doing?" "I'm playing Call of Duty." "I'm not a threat. I'm playing Mario Kart." "I got a laptop. I'm getting my doctorate." You're bettering yourself? So be it. I support it. Mrs. says Christmas when we pass by. I know a streamer that got a job as a psychology in the prison in January to help them. Well, see if I can find these pictures so you guys can understand the size of the prison. Uh, where I put it. She asked me how you knew your way around like you did. After a while, you dream it. Yeah, you do dream of the place, but it's the certain areas are cookie cutter, but the main cell house, you're gonna get lost in it. You go up to the infirmary, I still get lost in an infirmary. I get lost in an infirmary. It's But you know, and the thing is, you get lost in there, it's an adventure. You're gonna find your way out. Just stumble around a little bit, ask questions. You'll be surprised what you get. You'll be definitely surprised what you get. But Deds, you know that one. Every prison has tablets with Wi-Fi. Damn. All right, you're back. Let me pause this real quick. I'm gonna bring up some pictures for him, just basic, so he could see. Uh, Prison yard, Nevada State Prison. Doors to the original courthouse. Just go through them real quick for you guys, so he gets an idea of what we're investigating. Culinary, cafeteria, whatever you want to call it. One of the most haunted areas in the prison. I said closed 2006. They closed these pods because of security reasons. There's so many blind areas in here. Too many people were getting stabbed. Too many people were getting attacked. A 6-year-old could walk into this one of these pods and see the blind spots and hide, and the guards would never see you. As you heard, saw in chat, one of the guys like, I only provoke Neil Pitney. This is Neil Pitney's cell. He overdosed of heroin in the cell. It's still debatable. One, how he got the heroin into his cell. Two, how he overdosed. When I say how he overdosed, it's he was found face down in his cell, needle in his arm, and it's rumored that that the guards might have helped him overdose. It's rumored. Let's just leave it at that. Rumored to be helped to overdose. I provoke him for a simple fact that this is Gen Pop. You see, they have the freaking overlook for the guards. It's crazy. And this is the old cell house. Very haunted in here. I got to be careful because there's certain pictures I can't show on stream. I'm just making sure they're not in this file because I don't want a TOS on it. I definitely don't want TOS, and it's not in here. Okay. This is the original storage cave. Goes back to the 20s, 1920s. Very dangerous in there. You can see the roof is collapsing in. Culinary again. Don't know why. Oh shit. Yep, there was 2 of them. Glad I sped through it. Let me leave this here for a second. When people overdose, people are scared to get help, so they'll just walk off. It is old. Like I said, 1862 to 2012. The area you're looking at right now is the Native American ceremonial area. They actually had areas for Native Americans and Wiccans. They had a Wiccan area up on top of the hill. This is a Native American, they had their own little area where they could come out and do their thing, which was amazing. Now, did she tell you she smelled food and culinary like it was being prepared? No, she did not. Prison, like I was saying, Neil Pitney, he murdered his mother, decapitated her. I don't remember what they said he did with her head, but he kept her body and did some Norman Bates shit to her for a few months until they caught him. Newspaper reports say that they found he turned himself in a couple days later. Court documents say otherwise. He didn't even attend his own trial. But yeah, that's what exactly. Norman Bates'd it. And so the last time we went in there, Deds and I were making mom jokes. We were going above and beyond what provoking spirits would even be considered. We even took a syringe in there and left it with a Mother's Day card. We provoked the hell out of his spirit. A urinal in the courtyard, how often do you see that? Barber's chair. License plate factory. And execution. This is execution. This is one of the funnest areas to investigate. Lethal injection room. So, TM, absolutely. They have actually dinosaur footprints in one of the caves. They've actually done some in the area. It's quarantined off to where nobody can go in there. Even petroglyphs, we can't even get in there. Most prisons have an area blocked off for Native Americans. Culture yes, and as it should. As it should. There's ceremonies that should be allowed. You know, they say freedom of religion. They allow prisoners to go to church, allow prisoners to have Bibles, and damn well, Native Americans should have their ceremonial areas to worship Mother Earth. They should damn well be allowed to do it. And if not, they should sue the state. And I'll sign the petition for it too. Any day of the week, I'll sign that petition. So yeah, you get an idea of prison. I'm gonna see if I could find some more for you there, just so you get an idea. I like everybody getting an idea of coming in here and yeah, they hear all the audio, but we don't touch video till later on in the investigation, after we've finished a few recorders. So I'd like to be able to show some pictures so you guys get an idea of what we're doing. Most of the people in chat have seen it all, or seen all the pictures, but a lot haven't. So I'm trying to find areas that I have not shown. Good. I don't think I took. Yeah, prison's not that boring, and I don't know how to respond to that. Prison is not actually that boring. I'm sorry, I don't know how to react to that. I've never been to prison, but seeing that, and I mean, no offense to you whatsoever, it almost makes you want to chuckle a little bit because you don't understand. It's just like, prison's not boring. What? But yeah, like you said, you have tablets, you have TV, you've got access to certain things, so I know they don't want everybody just bored, so they resort to violence, because that's usually what they'll resort to. A lot of people locked up for a long time and nothing to do. What are they going to do? They're going to fight. All right, this is some different pictures. I'll just leave audio play. Now you can see how old the prison actually is. Already showed that on a different one. Gen Pop, old power panels. Now, Gen Pop, and you say this is where there was a problem. And I'll go ahead and keep talking as I'm talking about this. Here's a Wiccan area. Let me pause this real quick. I'm gonna pause this so we get that idea of what I'm talking about. When I say the original courthouse from when the prison opened, but Gen Pop, they had everybody mixed together. They had the Hispanic gangs, the black gangs, and the Aryan Nation. There's no other way to say it. So you had three conflicting right there. Then you had the multiple Hispanic gangs, 18th Street, 28th Street, Sanchucos. You had Bloods and Pyrus. You had the Aryan Brotherhood. So you got all these multiple groups who are known from fighting, neighbors all the way down the cell block, and it alternated. How many prisoners did it hold? I think we're upwards of close to 1,000. Between 700 and 1,000 total. I had the exact number here and I've lost it. Crips, MS-13, all of them were housed here up in Gen Pop together. You can imagine, and that's, like I said, that's how small the courthouse is. Been remodeled, of course. That's video. 2,000. Okay, so double the size. And the prison is over 1 million square feet. So I'm trying to find the picture of the prison itself. So I'll give you an idea of how big. And this is last night. This is last night's cells. This is basically the last few hours of your life. I've laid down in that bed and I've gotten evidence. It is creepy in here. The next time we go back, they're talking about sleeping in here. The original cafeteria, back to the 30s. So yeah, that's how it used to be back originally, before Nevada was officially a state. They brought you in on covered wagon into the courthouse. You were tried and convicted right there and taken immediately into the prison. You talk about speeding up the judicial system. The courthouse, straight into the prison. So yeah. I'm trying to find this picture for you. So just kind of bear with me for just a minute. The 16-year-old that was involved with me got 3 life sentences without, oh my God. And that's why he got 3 life sentences, because he was 16. No offense. But still, you got a little bit of time left. The prison was 1862 to 2006, 140 years. They used it for 140 years. Now here's the kicker. Closed in 2006. Nevada didn't have an execution chamber for a few more years. That execution chamber was still used after the prison closed. So basically, death row and execution were still active after the prison closed. How scary is that? And I've made very good friends with the docents who take care of the prison. So here it is. That's how big Nevada State Prison is. Let me get this in perspective a little bit better for you. From right here at the bottom, prison, I appreciate that, bud. I really appreciate that. Thank you. I know it's different. This is my goal, is to help people understand the paranormal. It's the original reason for this. And it kind of just, excuse me, I'm about ready to sneeze. Oh, sorry about that, guys. Uh, I wanted people to understand what we go through analyzing evidence. Yes, the original prison goes from the bottom courthouse here that I just told you all the way around this U. Thank you, Moose. The U is the original part of the prison. Up top is the mattress factory, license plate factory, gymnasium, chaplain's office, and the new pods. The top buildings up here in the center were opened in the 70s, early 70s, up until 2006. Like I said, they closed them down for security reasons because of all the blind spots. But up in like building 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 were the pods. Building 13 was Gen Pop. Building 12 is where they housed the worst of the worst. It's where they put all the rapists, all the bank robbers, all the killers. The worst of the prison went there, and they were all pretty much. It's like eight cells per pod. There's 8 pods per wing, and there's 4 pods per building. So you figure like 32 to 40 cells per building. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 7 buildings times 40. You had 280 people up on the hill, not counting Gen Pop. But like Neil Pitney, yes, inmate named Joseph Wright. That was twisted. That was a dangerous one. But yeah, I've been in almost every building in prison grounds minus one, the gymnasium. But I tell you what, guys, are you open up to hearing some of the EVPs so prison can understand some of the evidence we actually get? So he's just not listening to white noise. Let me see if I can find the file real quick. Okay. Yeah, it's funny you say that, their prison. One of the buildings, I think it's building 7 up on the hill, they don't have prison doors per se. They've got the prison doors, but they have them set up like house doors. Or you can go in and literally lock the door yourself. They literally have the doors where you can come and go out of the cell as you please. You can't leave the block, but you can leave your cell and be in the area of your pod. They have that honor system for them, which I think is great. Got to check the gym out sometime. Bloods and Hoovers. Ooh. Problem is with the prison gym, they're not going to allow us into it because there's still state documents stored there. I've asked, it's like, Brent, we want to let you in, but we can't. There's still sensitive documents in there. And they said there was more murders in the gymnasium than in the entirety of the prison combined. So I'd love to get in there to investigate, but I can't because of security reasons. So what we're going to do, I'm going to load up some EVPs here, so you can understand some of the evidence this is from last year's investigation. I'm in education, so this is an honor dorm. I graduate next week. Congratulations. Congratulations on graduating. That's cool. That's got to be a hell of a feeling. Get yourself a degree, get out, and yeah, make it the best you can. put it all behind you, nobody will judge you. And I say that because I worked for Habitat for Humanity for 5 years. A lot of people who were out, once they got out, they had to get jobs, they had to get job skills. As long as it wasn't a violent crime, they sent them to us to build up those skills. I had a couple people who did 30 years, and they came in, and you having to train them and having them cry when they leave because you're the first person to show them compassion since before they went to jail. So it's like, I understand what you say with that. So believe me, I make it as good as you can.
I was here a year ago, and somebody made me very sick in the last night's cells.
I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. I saw that. I saw that.
A simple, I saw that. The year before this EVP, I was doing a session in last night's cells, and I started getting violently ill to the point where beyond bubble guts. And I brought it up, and you get a response of, I saw that, which means there was more than one spirit in that area. And that's creepy.
I was here a year ago, and somebody made me very sick in the last night's cells.
I saw that.
They don't try to help people with violent crimes. Much I was a getaway driver and got 30 year. Lucky you only have to serve 15 of it. Yeah, it is creepy. Hopefully once you graduate, see if they'll get you out on good behavior. It's like you weren't physically involved with violence. You were basically an accomplice. I don't know Oklahoma's laws, but talk to an attorney. See if, hey, I've bettered myself. I've got my degree. I'm graduating. See if that'll help you get time served for getting an education. A lot of places will do that.
Do you like the fact that Susan and everybody are keeping this prison up so people can communicate with you?
Hang on, he said.
Do you
Hang on, he said. Hang on, he said. Hang on, he said. Hang on, he said.
Hang on to them. When I say Susan and the others, those are the docents that take care of the prison. And you hear me saying, I'm not talking to them like they're convicted. I'm asking them how they're feeling. How do they see the people around them? And how do you feel about the docents taking care of the prison for you? Hang on to them. That shows a consciousness. That shows an intelligence. Hang on to them. That shows that energy does remain. Hang on to them. That's a pretty bold statement from a spirit. It's like, really? Hang on to them? Yeah.
Do you like the fact that Susan and everybody are keeping this prison up so people can communicate with you?
Hang on, he said.
Could you touch that device and make it blink for as many of you that are in here with us right now, please? 1, 2, 3, 4, how many ever? Just please let us know how many of you there are.
How many? 7. Now, I heard this with you'll hear in a second, I'll hit play again. I heard this with my own ears. I crashed out when I first came. That's my only issue. I got almost 2 years clear conduct. I'd like to look for more. Left everyone outside the car. And I'll get back to this in a sec. When you say that, I did a residential investigation in Pahrump, Nevada, quite about over 10 years ago now. There was some negative spirits there, but there was also Native American spirits there. There were Navajo spirits on this lady's property. I went through all the evidence and I heard what sounded like singing, chanting, whatever. I wasn't English. One of my friends is Navajo, and I sent him the EVP. and he said it was a Navajo blessing. He took it to his uncle, who was a shaman, and he came back to me a couple weeks later and said, "You received a Navajo blessing." He goes, "You're white. This doesn't happen. You received a spiritual blessing from the other side." Scared the hell out of me. I ain't gonna lie, but when you say that, I see these things all the time. Being in Las Vegas, once you get out to these outlying areas, that was all, Native American land back in the 1800s. So,
Did you hear that?
I think that might be a person.
If that wasn't the other team, I heard 7. Could you touch that device and make it blink for as many of you that are in here?
yeah, Prison, I don't take anything in the paranormal for granted. You start coming back here more frequently when you can. I know, probably tough sometimes. You'll see some of the EVPs we get, and if you see on the screen, we have the counter: EVPs caught and get insulted. I get kind words from the spirits, and I also get called an asshole by the spirits. So, kind of take the good with the bad on that one.
Please. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many ever? Just please let us know how many of you there are. Did you hear that?
Now, the downside, Prison, is I'm not always live. Like, I'm rarely live during the week like this. Usually, because I'm in Vegas, I work. I'm live 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. During the weekends, I will throw in weekend day shows, and like weekends, I try my best to be on during the day. That lets us catch up, being backed up on EVPs. Yeah. You think ghost hunters and stuff is fake as hell as a kid until you see stuff for yourself. That's the majority of it. I've been seeing stuff since I was 5 years old. I've been seeing stuff since I was 5. I'm 47. I've been on over 900 investigations. People look at me like I'm crazy. People at work bust my balls about it. They're like, "You really do this, dude? You're 47. I'm like, "Yeah, come on an investigation. Just once." You don't belong in here. So, yeah, that's some spirits, they don't want you in there. If you're going in there investigating late at night like we do, you'll get a lot of get outs, a lot of go aways. These spirits are used to sleeping at night, not having teams come through and interrupting them. So. So, are there others in here? Yes. Got homegrown in Vegas. We have a reason to come down there to 2033. Make down there someday. You should travel to other prisons that are haunted. I'm trying. I'm trying to get over to Missouri State. Trying to get up to one in Pennsylvania, and I'm also trying to get to Alcatraz. So the machine, you pick up what you can here. Yes and no, Prison. I use just basic digital recorders. Very rarely do you hear it with your own ears. It's below the frequency. It's below the frequency range which the human ear can pick up. The human ear can hear down to 6 hertz. As you grow older, that goes up to about 14 to 20 hertz. These recorders are very sensitive, and they will pick it up. And like I said, we've got stuff we don't hear, and we've got stuff we've heard with our own ears. When I said that recent one we just played, when I heard 7, Deds was there right next to me. He goes, I think that was the other team. Dude, that wasn't the other team. They're not in the building. I just heard 7. It's like, and when you hear it with your own ears, it's crazy. We were doing the walkthrough for the setup, not this last investigation, but the previous one. We were just, no, it'll pick down to 6. 3 becomes infrasound, which is actually, infrasound, you start getting up to where you can hear a snail's heartbeat. They sell infrasound recorders, but I'm not paying $3,000 for one. I'm not paying, then you have to build it. I am not spending that kind of money. 6, yeah, once it gets lower than that, you can almost debunk it or discredit it to environmental sound. I've never really seen, the second I felt someone touching me running, then you'd be running really fast out of that prison. Deds and I and one of the docents of the prison were walking out from the original isolation cave. The isolation cell was a cave. We were walking through the gate. All 3 of us got touched at this pretty much the same time. I got my necklace pulled. Deds, I think, had his hair pulled, and Chris had a scratch on the back of his neck, all at the same time. You don't think we were wondering what was going on? We were up in building 12, leaving after setting up recorders in daylight. It was like 4:30 in the afternoon. We're walking out saying, okay, we'll be back later in the evening. Then as clear as day, like you're hearing me, don't go. It's like, did you just hear that? It's like, yeah, it said don't go. It's like, we'll be back later. We'll be back later in the day. It's like a news report. We'll be back later in the day. And we did too. But I was, my second year there, I was chased out of one of the cell blocks up on the hill by a shadow running out of the cell. I've got it on camera somewhere. I have it on video. I got chased by a shadow out of the building, and I hightailed it the freak out of there. I will, TM. You'll die in here? Creepy one, you'll die in here. It's like, wow. Not worth playing. I'll show it. I'll show it on air. I just gotta find it. Prison, you're welcome. Thank you for spending time in here. If you don't make it back, it's been a pleasure. Please come back again. It's been an honor having you in here. And thank you for sharing your story as well. And if I don't see you for a while, I hope your graduation goes well. All right, let's get back to the audio. Okay. You're welcome, Prison. It's been an honor. I just had one of the bosses message me. He had one of the lighting manager had to go do a drop off at Justin Timberlake at Fountain Blue, because since I'm off today and Monday. He just messaged me saying I had to go do a drop in the Sprinter van. He goes, I can't see how you do this. You're a freaking rock star. It's like, yeah, I am. He goes, enjoy your 2 days off. He goes, you deserve it. Guys, I'm gonna turn the camera off for just a minute. I gotta step away, but I'm gonna leave the audio playing. What was the problem with the drop off? Kind of hard to explain. They started building Fountain Blue back in like '97, and they kept running into bankruptcy. So there's a lot of parts of the structure, like the loading dock, that's still 30 years old. So it's 30-year-old technology down there. So, and plus driving in there is a very narrow alley. So it was, it's a not, unless you really know what you're doing, it's gonna hit you a little bit, and it hit him. So they understand what I have to go through, and it's great. Jesus. And what I'm wondering is, we're on to section 2 of this recorder. Where's all the wind at? No, he's surprised that I'm able to do it as quick as I do, and that I'm able to get in and out of these areas without any problems. So it's like I'm the jack of all trades around there, and I get shit done. Yeah, where's the wind at? Section 1 had all the wind. Now there's virtually nothing. Yeah, when I came back to Solotech after COVID, when they finally called me back, the driver I replaced would literally take like 4 hours to go do 2 stops. They had me do a few runs, and I was back in like an hour. Came back, and the boss is like, Brent, are you going to leave? It's like, dude, I'm already back. He goes, what? It's like, I've already got the gear, picked it up, unloaded it, and it's with the departments. They're like, huh? It's like the guy you replaced would take all day to do this. It's like, that shows you that he was dicking around all day, doesn't it? And plus, most of these places, they know me, so I always get like priority service. A lot of places don't like that though. It's like, why does he get to go first? I don't know, TM. When they're done, you have to go pick it up. Generally, yeah, but dicking the dog, as they say. Yeah. Whenever. Uh, Technically, I'm not the only one to do it, but I'm the only one who. I'm the technically the driver. Driver slash senior warehouse. So. Yes, it's my job. Yes, I'm the. I don't know, Matt Moose. It sounds like it. Sounds like somebody walking, but without a camera, we don't know. I think I had a GoPro on women's on night 3. If I remember, yeah, I think I did have it there on night 3. So we'll have to wait and see. But once we get to it, guys, we have a lot of video. I still have to compile it all. Or I'm about half done compiling the videos. They're just in like 3-hour sections. It'd be like a weekend stream of just videos. Let's see if I can find that video real quick. Since it's kind of slow audio-wise. Where was it? Where was it? It sure does sound like there's somebody taking very soft steps in there. Shower. Last night, where was it? Damn it. See if this was a video. I don't remember which one it is, so bear with me. Nope.
All right, ladies. For some reason, the my foot.
Nope. It's not it. I'm gonna have to find it for you for another show. Thought I had it marked. I guess I don't. Is that a duck? Sounds like a fucking duck. Okay, now we've got crows and ducks. That's a crow. Ducks and crows, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. Ugh. I think the duck is the crow, probably. Yeah, so we're back in women's. We're back down the hill. So that is the crow. That is the crow. Damn it. Crows can be a good omen, though. Wow. Driving me nuts. I gotta find this video. I definitely gotta find this video. All right, somebody coming in. Probably into execution, though. back to it. No. No, 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 no. Yep. Damn music box. I don't think that's Susan. I think that's Lingering Souls.
We're here. Mackenzie's here with me too.
Say what? Okay. It's either one of the male investigators or that is an EVP. Let's find out. Okay, effects, reverb. Here it goes. Here he comes. Here he comes. Is that Here He Comes? Here he comes. Let's see if we can clean it up a little bit then. Let's see if we can definitely clean this up. Okay, denoise. All right, now it's clean. Back to stretch and pitch. What do you guys think? I don't don't know. I can hear the here he comes, but at the end, it's here he comes. It's like it's adding to that hiss at the end. It's okay. Let's see if we can clean this up a little bit more because it's straight. Definitely de-hummer maybe. What do you guys think? Honest opinion. All right. You're saying no? Okay.
Yes, you know. You better be home. Okay, thank you. That felt like a whisper. Come here inside. Open and demons. So Mackenzie and I are here. We just wanted to talk to you, ladies to ladies. We do have some gentlemen friends here with us you're welcome to come and visit with. So we're here, we have a red here, say hi. That's Kyle, say hi Kyle.
Now here's the problem. They're not giving any time whatsoever for the spirits to answer. They're just flapping away at the gums. They're just, hey, you know, it's like, hey, we're here to talk to you. Do you want to talk to us? And you know what? Da 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 da. It's like, come on, shut up and let them answer. Ask a question, shut up for 30 seconds, and ask the next one. Don't just keep talking. You know, this isn't girls' night out for fucking margaritas. This is a paranormal investigation. Give them time to answer.
Eddie? 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 Paul? And this is Trevor. These gentlemen are anxious to see you guys. I see someone brought me flowers. Did someone just say something? You did? Oh. So Trevor wants to know what you guys would like him to bring for you. He has some suggestions.
Off and on moose there is. It's their equipment.
Mackenzie, do you want to ask any questions? You guys hear me? I think it's a promise.
That's them talking.
I didn't know you could have promise.
It's them. It is moose.
It sounds like someone's walking the hallway.
It just sounds like they brought the whole team up there.
I guarantee if you play that one more time,
Yeah, I think it is, TM. I think it is 4 to 5 people. They brought, I think, 11 or 12, but 5 of them came up here. They're great people. They just talk way too much. You're right, Deds.
Do you need tampons? Pads? Do you want hair conditioner? You guys hear that, guys?
Exactly, TM. Somebody's always got to be talking.
No, that's Nancy. Jesus Christ. Do you want hair conditioner? You guys hear that, guys? You guys hear that, guys? You guys hear that, guys? You guys hear that, guys?
There's a voice behind that, it sounds like. There's a male voice behind that. I'm almost certain there's a male voice behind there. Shit. Okay, shit, I did that backwards. Fuck. Let's find out. Okay, now let's bump that back up. Answer there. 5, that ought to do it.
You guys hear that, guys? You guys hear that, guys? You guys hear that, guys?
No, I can't count that.
No, that's Nancy. Jesus Christ.
Moose, I don't know. It sounded like leave her alone, but I don't know. With this many people in here, it's hard to get evidence. It's virtually impossible. Once you get 4 or 5 people in an area, the chances of getting evidence is 5 to 10%. Moose, very well so. And we've had it on this show many times to where the entire chat hears one thing and they agree on it. I hear something else and I go back after the show and replay it. Then I hear what they hear. So it's entirely possible to hear different things and have you guys be right and vice versa. So there's a walking. Oh no, come on. Don't do it. Please don't do the freaking music box. Now the question is, would you rather hear the music box or the REM pod? How about neither?
What?
Wait for me. I'm supposed to be protecting you. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, sorry.
Really? Oh, what the fuck? Oh, sorry. Freaking really? Whoa, hold on, hold on, hold on. Who is this? No, Moose. When I go to Nevada State Prison, I invite teams that I know. This is Lingering Souls Paranormal. They're out of Phoenix, Arizona. And there's an EVP in here. I can hear this one clear as day. I've invited them all 4 years. The first year, they kind of got screwed over. And I saved by another team. I saved the day. And it just got to be habits, so I just keep inviting them. Now, this one, I assure you, is an EVP. Who is this? Hard whisper. Let's clean it up a little bit to be safe. No, by another. When I was with a paranormal team before, I started Incarnate Paranormal, put Incarnate Paranormal on hold, joined another team, and then quit that team and started back up Incarnate again. That team, the director, disappeared with like over $3,000 from like 3 or 4 other teams, including his own team. So basically, what he did was everybody paid him for the investigation. Then he canceled the investigation and did not give the money back. Everybody's like, "Where's our money?" "Oh, you don't get your money back if the investigation's canceled." No. If the location or if you cancel, they get their money back. That's the way it is. If you personally cancel it, you give the money back. That's what the law says. It goes, we're no refunds. It's like, all right. So Nevada State Prison is $125 a night per person, and we had it for 3 nights. Yeah, oh yeah. If I find him, it's over. If I get my hands anywhere near him, I might be going to jail. Police are aware of it. Attorneys are aware of it. Like I said, Lingering Souls Paranormal out of Phoenix. Most of them are retired cops. So he stole from retired cops. Real good. So back to the story. Nobody can find him. He doesn't have a physical address that we could find. I stepped up, contacted Susan at the prison, said, I'm going to step back in. This was the second year. And said, okay, it's like, we're going to come back and investigate. I'm taking over since so-and-so screwed us all over. She's like, are you sure you want to do this? It's like, yeah. She goes, I'm taking the reins. So instead of paying $125 a night for 2 nights, we paid $125 for 2 nights. She helped us out since he stole from everybody. So and ever since then, I just keep inviting Lingering Souls. Because the Bones and Webb, he's blocked everybody that had anything to do with it. You have to almost go get a warrant for that, and you need proof. We have the proof. It's just there's so many legal loopholes. We're just waiting to find them physically. So yeah. Brent had to save the day. I can't count that. It's just a little too low for me to count.
Do you want anything?
Yeah, we've tried, and
Maybe some salt or salt or something, and maybe have some of that water from the kitchen food you get.
oh, I know his real name.
What else would you
I know his real name. I am not saying the team name, or I'm not saying his name on air. I won't give him that publicity. No, we paid by cash. Everything was done by cash. Lingering Souls paid through PayPal. Uh, they tried getting their money back, and PayPal wouldn't do anything.
Which one of the gentlemen here do you want to speak with? Did you guys hear him go? There was walking over there. I heard someone over there.
Why are they whispering? Why are they whispering? Ugh.
How many of you killed your husband?
No. The problem is TM. It's a door squeak. They're whispering. Problem is you could whisper down the hall, and this recorder is going to pick it up. We've learned this over a few all 4 investigations at the prison. Just talk. Don't whisper it. We're going to mistake it for an EVP. Once somebody's whispering like this, you cannot identify the voice, so you're going to mark it as an EVP. And that's why I tell people, don't freaking whisper. If you're going to talk. I can debunk it if you're talking. If you're not freaking talking and you're whispering, I'm going to get false evidence. So some of the evidence we've gotten, it's possible it was the other team whispering. So just talk like normal and say, hey, it's me. I'd rather him do that than whisper.
How many of you guys have children? Do you miss your babies?
You're gonna lurk for a little bit? All right, Tundra, I'm only gonna be going a few more minutes. Then I gotta take a break. But I'll be back like later this evening after dinner. Got a couple errands to run, so like I said, I've been going 2.5 hours. Take a little break, get something to eat, and come back. But I'm doing 2 shows today for sure. Nothing.
Do you get to see your babies? This is my son here. I could not imagine not being able to see him every day, especially when he was little.
Look at the what noise? Sorry, TM, I'm not understanding that one.
Do you write to your babies? Make them gifts? What about your animals? Do you name your pets?
Switch mode, power supply noise.
I miss my dog.
I'm not sure. Not sure. And whatever they're doing in the TM, whatever they're doing, bud, I don't know. I don't follow them around. They should pay more attention and take notice in other things, but they should. But when they go, they gear up. They really gear up.
Do you miss your babies, Mom? That's gotta be the worst part of this. Not getting to see them grow up.
It is hard to listen to this for so long. I ain't gonna lie, guys. This is tough. Here comes the music box again. Right there.
Did you guys do me a favor and let me know you're here by triggering that machine down there to make music?
It's like
Or touching this pod? Because
REM pod.
we also have a ball. The ball right here.
All right, guys. I am going to take a break. This is really getting to the ears right now, but take a break for a couple hours. Come back, do a second show this evening, and tomorrow as well. We're gonna play catch up. We're definitely gonna get caught up. We're not that far behind actually, but we'll get there. Tundra, Moose, TM, Deads, and anybody else that's just lurking there. Prison, if you happen to come back. Thank you guys for being here. Almost 3 hours. We'll be back at it later. So you guys have a good afternoon, and I'll see you soon. Later.